And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in the Long Dark, where we're exploring... Well, we're exploring Forsaken Airfield, and I'll probably be back out there in a moment to continue exploring it. But I'm trying to grab... In my process of getting lost, I found the cave, I think, that connects over to... I don't know if this is... Well, I haven't been to either of them, so I don't know if this connects to the Forsaken Mine, or to the mine or to the other far territory's territory. So we're hopping through here to see if there's any call to loot before we go back into Forsaken Airfield. And there is some coal. There's a piece. 2. Okay, torch quality is starting to go down, so let's swap to the next torch. And we do not lack for decent torches. So if a torch stops being decent, it's time to throw it away and grab a different one. Well, this looks like a complicated tunnel here. Multiple branching forks. I've not been in this one before, so there's a decent possibility I'm going the wrong way. Or at least not the efficient way through here. Sticking to the good old left-hand rule. Which is usually a decent way to not get lost in these caves. Though, its main method of not getting you lost is making you search the entire cave. So if there's any loops in the cave, that's usually where it stops working. So you just got to be able to be cognizant of it not working on loops. Yeah. Starting off this bit with a little bit of cave exploring. Scoop a bit more coal. And then, with the knowledge that I've gained from finding this cave, we're going to try to take a different direction when we leave the cave to locate the cabin I was searching for. This torch is getting a little bit bad, so let's go swap the next one. Well, some potential for loot. Cotton tube that's ruined, not worth even picking up. Empty box. But yeah, this is the cave that transitions over to one of the other far territory main zones, which wasn't my plan to come in here. It wasn't my plan to transition to the other zone, but I got lost. So this is, as Bob Ross might say, this is a happy accident. We're exploring the cave right now. This is a big room. That's a dead end. This torch is starting to get bad. Time to solve torches. And the theory is we go through torches, we walk faster, so... Ah, see, we got the Mines of Moria Bridge here. That's a recognizable landmark. That'll help move through the tunnel in the future, I suppose. Looks like we're potentially coming towards a entrance exit, which is not the one we're going to leave, because we want to go back out the one we came in. We do want to know... Well, at the moment, because of the way I'm exploring, I have to keep exploring until I've explored the cave, basically, so... Frozen corpse. And it keeps going. This is a complicated cave network. That's not skylights, those are just glowing crystals. Peephole to the unknown. Got Minamori Bridge. So is this the previous Minamori Bridge? That's a good question. There's some coal, so apparently we haven't been past here at least. Overweight. Most of the weight right now, most of the overkill weight is torches and coal. So as we go, we will lose torches, gain coal. Theory, if I got desperate, I should be able to pull a 180 and do right-hand rule back. Okay, so we've come up to a dead end. I'm going to follow left-hand... Well, we're still going to follow left-hand rule, because I want to find the other exit. That's the bridge we just came across. And the question I don't know for sure is if we've been from this way yet. left-hand rule says go this way. Every way this goes. This torch is starting to get bad. Time for the next torch. Water melting off of a glacier. Interesting. Well, stalactite of ice or whatever you want to call that. And a rope climb. Okay, well, we're not taking the rope climb. I do not have the carrying capacity right now to go up that rope climb. I suspect that is the way out. So we'll just use left-hand rule. Continue following left-hand rule and get back down to the entrance we came into, presumably. Unless this cave is connected to all of the far territories. In which case, I may find a different entrance, and then that will just complicate matters. So I hope if you're watching, you've at least been understanding what I'm doing, even if it isn't the most optimal or perfect way of doing things. Okay, so I think that bridge we crossed is in fact a bridge that we've crossed, well, for the first time. We're about to cross it for the second time because we're going back the other direction. Alright, Mines and Warrior Bridge 2. Let's see if we can go back and find Mines and Warrior Bridge 1. Torch getting bad, so we do torch swap. We got plenty of torches still. And then even if we run low on torches, we can always start a fire and make more torches. So that's not a problem. As by the magic of Long Dark Transmutation, we can turn one piece of coal and one stick into 7 torches. Well, more than 7 torches usually, but 7-ish torches. And then you turn one of those torches into a stick, and, well, in this cave we got plenty of coal, so as long as we keep finding sticks, or as long as we keep finding coal, we keep making torches to make sticks. Start the fire to make the torches. Okay, we've been here before. Took the left here before, so we may be going an entirely new direction now. Which it would not be ideal for leaving, I suppose. Book. Generic book. And dead end. Okay. So now we're back at the fork. We know we originally came from this direction, so we're heading back more in the direction from which we came. Which doesn't mean there won't be the occasional piece of coal I missed. Okay. And we're back to the first Mines of Moria style bridge. Rock bridge crossing a chasm, of which you cannot see the bottom, or at least I can't see the bottom with my lousy torch. It's time to swap that torch. And the exploration continues. Left-hand rule dominates, so keep going this way, even though I'm seeing it branch and branch and branch some more. Well, good to know if I get lost in here, I'm not the only one who got lost. Well, based on the loot that I'm pulling off these guys, I am the most prepared person who came down here. Stone, not coal. So that, I think, is icy water. So I'm gonna take boots and socks and stuff off. Because if that is icy water... Oh, it isn't icy water. So we're not going that way. Because that looks like a waterfall. Yeah. See if there's anything useful in the backpack. And apparently this isn't icy water, so I'm going to put my boots back on. Because they help keep us warm. I was worried it was going to be wet, and I would not want my shoes wet. Wet shoes are terrible. This is obviously a place I have not been before in this cave, so definitely still exploring. Okay, and that is a way out. So I'm suspecting that we are attached to multiple our territory zones here. So we'll pop out and see which one this is.
Something's gotta go.
Zone of contamination. So this one is the mine. So yeah, we still haven't been... This hasn't given us the next tail because we haven't finished the previous tail. We're not ready for the zone of contamination yet, so we'll come back later. So I guess the rope climb up was probably into the third bar territory zone. So that would track with it being extra high, because I think the third one's the highest of the three. Flare. Pick that up in case an emergency happens. Shouldn't need it, but shouldn't means I won't need it. Well, shouldn't doesn't mean I won't need it, but maybe I'd run away to think about that. And we're walking slowly, because we're gonna crouch to get through that bit of tunnel. There we go. And we're following the left-hand rule until I get to a place I recognize. And even then, we're probably still following the left-hand rule. Which means there's any loops in here, and there almost certainly are loops in here, based on how big and large this is. There will be places that we will not explore, because the left-hand rule, if there's interior locations in a loop, doesn't explore those places. Okay, well we found something to eat, so we're going to scarf that down. Save the inventory space. And I don't mind walking slowly around this cave, so I'm going to accept the fact that we're overweight and getting perpetually more overweight as we get more fatigued. When I find the entrance we came in, which will take a while, I will probably sleep for an extended period of time there, maybe. We'll see what the weather looks like back in second airfield. In the meantime, the exploration is... Well, I'm not going to say that it was been rewarding. Okay, we've definitely come this way before, because there's some ruined torches here. But it has been interesting. The exploration has been interesting. Okay, so that was the Mines of Moria Bridge, which means we've come back to this big room. Which, to be fair, we basically took the first left once we entered the room. So this is probably a new way that we haven't been. Unless that left that area there was a dead end. In which case, then we're going back down the way we came. We'll see. The easiest way to tell is if I see any torches. Any ruined torches as we go by. Yeah, I think this is the way we came in. This is the zigzag back down. That we came up on the way in. Now, there could still be more forks that go elsewhere down here. So that doesn't mean we're anywhere near done exploring yet. Wow. Just exploring this guy. I was like, oh, yep. This is gonna be like 5 minutes in and out. Gonna check some coal, and then we're gonna go exploring a place for second airfield. And the cave was bigger than I thought it was. Granted, I have not spoiled myself in the shape of this cave, so I'm certainly missing bits. Because left-hand rule, while effective at finding a way through a maze, is usually not effective when there's circles in the maze, or multiple entrances in the maze, or bits that you're not going down because you can't climb portions of the maze, so there's definitely bits I am missing. And the exploration continues. Yeah. My whole, well, it's gonna be like a 5-minute dive into the cave is turning into one long episode of me poking around the cave. So this is the place we have been before, so I'm going over used ground on the way back out. And I can tell that because we just went past one of our torches from earlier. Looking like a way in or out. Question is this where we came in? Yes, this was where we came in. Okay, so we're back to where we came in.
I'm gonna have to leave something
How's the
behind.
way looking like? 3 echelon down in the wind shelter. And we're way too heavy, so we're going to abandon some cedar firewood here. This is a place I'll probably be again. And then we'll drop down to 6 pieces of coal. That's a lot more appropriate, so we can make a little bit more time. A little bit better time. This is good looking weather, so at least we can see where we're going. So I'm not going to stop our exploration just because the character's tired. Because with this sort of weather, I should be able to see where I'm going. So let's see if we can find the cabin that I've been trying to go to for the past hour and 10 minutes. And if I am able to find my way to the cabin, that's when we'll go ahead and put the part break in. The next part break. And that part break will be a little bit one of the longer part breaks because I'm going to take a break to make a cup of tea before resuming for the next YouTube recording / continuing the Twitch stream. So if you're watching on Twitch, my normal modus operandi is, in the grand scheme of things, I'm recording this for posterity on YouTube. So I'm recording 30 to 40 minute episodes. In the case of the Long Dark, usually I record for 30 minutes plus whatever it takes to find a good place to save. And then when I get to one of those places, I'll go ahead and do a break in the recording for YouTube. And if there's any bodily needs I need to do, like stretch the legs, then that's what gets done between parts. Usually I'm sipping a cup of tea to keep the voice working. That usually needs to be replaced once a stream, usually in the middle of stream. So we're coming up on the point where I'm going to go ahead and replace the cup of tea. That usually makes that break a little bit longer than normal. The last break was basically non-existent because I didn't need to get up or stretch anything, and it was right after we had of the Twitch raid. So if any of those Twitch viewers are around, I hope you've been enjoying watching me poke around that cave, because it was the first time I've been in that cave, so I presumably didn't take the most efficient route around that cave. I am taking a little bit of cold damage, so it's probably time I find a place to hunker down and start a campfire to warm up and feed our character, because the character's a little hungry. A little less concerned about conserving condition at this point, because we're approaching the point where the character needs to take a 10-hour rest anyway. And a long 10-hour rest heals a lot of condition loss. But yeah, so if you're watching on Twitch, the stream will continue. There'll just be a sort of a short interlude in the middle once I find where we're going. To replace the cup of tea. And if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube later, feel free to always leave a comment. I'll try to respond to them as soon as I notice them. Whether that happens or not can vary a bit. But actually, how cold are we? 18. Okay, so whole piece of coal in the fire. Make liter of water. And we're going to cook porridge, because that's the food we're brought with us today. Yeah, so this episode is going to continue until I get to a good saving spot. So this is going to continue until we get to the cabin. The cabin should be in the corner of the map, basically straight ahead from where we are right now. Doing a basic inventory maximization optimization that I generally do. So when we leave this fire, I'm going to basically take the remainder of the fuel time in this fire as torches, which is one of the reasons I have so many good torches, because I burn them from worst to best, and I tend to preserve as much fuel as we can from each fire, so that tends to mean I bring a lot of torches with me. Which inevitably concentrates into the best torches. So I end up with a bunch of good torches like we had left in the tunnel exploration. So I think from here I can see the airfield. That's where we were wandering in the second half of the first part of this recording session. And that's where I think Twitch joined us, arguably. And we've been here before, as we can see by the torch here. We're basically, when I hit this zone border here, I wasn't sure if this was the... Well, if you're looking at the map, whether this was the right side of the map or the bottom side of the map. The answer is it's the right side of the map. What we're looking for is where the right side of the map meets the bottom of... Well, sort of the bottom of the map. It's not quite the bottom of the map. So we should be able to fairly easily find where we're going to in the level of sunlight we've got. Because a cabin against the forest shouldn't be that hard to see. And that's where I'll put the midstream break-in once we get into the cabin. Assuming the cabin has an inside. If the cabin doesn't have an inside, I may still put a save in there. And if you're wondering why I put a save in, it's to end a recording part. Is if something comes up and I don't have time to start the next recording, or I don't think I have time to start the next recording, that's always just a place where I can do a quit and exit, and then we don't lose any progress that's on a recording. So somewhere up in this corner, in addition to being where the cabin is also where the radio bunker is. So when the next aurora happens, we should be able to find the bunker if we're in this vague corner of the map. That's not the bunker down there, or the cabin down there. I think the cabin's up in the corner, but I have not been to the cabin, so don't take my very circuitous route to find the cabin here as the most optimal way to find a cabin. It isn't. In fact, I can almost promise you it isn't, because I probably should have been there already if I was taking the most optimal route. I only had to walk as the crow flies across the short end of the map, and I've already basically walked from one end of the map and back again, so it definitely did go the wrong way at some point. Not most of the points. Well, hopefully we're getting pretty close. But yeah, if a Grimaflog rolls in at this point, or... Well, it's not going to be an Aurora for another 6 hours, but if the Aurora rolled in, we should be able to use the radio to find the place close to where we're going anyway. Wolf spooked me. Okay. Wolf apparently jumped me anyway, even though I had a torch out.
That blood loss.
And where we have the medication for this? No, apparently I don't have any antiseptic, so we'll have to use an old man's beard. That's fine.
Something's making me feel really tired.
Yeah, it's called being tired. Okay, so there's the cabin, and now we desperately need it.
So cold. Just want to lay down for a bit.
Well, that is exactly what he's gonna do as soon as we get to that cabin. So yeah, this is, if everything kind of goes according to the plan, we're going to sort of hunker down until the next aurora in this cabin here. And then hopefully we don't have a wolf run in between the cabin and the radio mucker. The torch at this point probably isn't necessary. I mainly bring it with me because I need it for cooking food. And we probably, well, we may want to cook food at the beginning of the next part just to feed the character a little bit, so we're not starving when our character wakes up. This is Justy's hovel. And as I promised, this loading screen here is where I'm going to go ahead and put the part break in. So if you're watching on YouTube, the next part will be up tomorrow. If you're still watching Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to go make a new cup of tea, and then I'll get right back to recording. So with that, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part. And bye for now.